Hello, this is Dave, and welcome to Equity Story. Just having a look at the Dow. I think the Dow actually looks a lot more interesting than the ASX 200. It's pretty. I thought last night was a pretty bullish move. It came back. It's hit that sort of shorter term moving average and bounced back off it. And if it was ever going to have another chance to hopefully attack that 20,000 level, possibly tonight or the next 2 nights could be it. So for me, the Dow's looking actually pretty good. And in all fairness, our market sort of low didn't do much today. It held up fairly well. Um, traded in a pretty sort of tight, narrow range. And I think there's, at the moment, the way I'm looking at it, I think the charts are saying to me there's certainly more in this. Just having a look, obviously, what we're up to today. And we sold NAB. When you look at NAB, it does. It looks fine. It looks like, this could go further. We're just being cautious, really. We've got quite a few trends on at the moment. We made 4.6% in 3 weeks. It's a good trade. We'll take it. We'll bag the profits. And we are still in the bank. So we've still got ANZ, and we're happy to sort of take profits with one and hold the other. And for us, that's a pretty sort of pretty sensible trading strategy, especially when you see, it is starting to move a little bit further from these sort of moving averages, and certainly you could also argue the other case of the market is starting to look quite stretched as well. BHP, which we bought off that shorter term chart, looks absolutely fantastic. Again, looks even better. It's come back, bounced above that sort of 20-day moving average. I sort of like the look of these stocks when they come down, they hold that sort of 40, and they start moving up again, similar to what BHP did back in November, and again did a similar in September and August. And I think this is a really good aggressive short-term, a daily trend that looks absolutely fantastic. So I don't think it'll be long before we're taking money out of BHP. And Aristocrat the same. Again, we really brought it on that sort of weekly buy signal. And again today it had a lovely move up, and certainly 650 or even higher could certainly be on the cards. I think it looks very, very good. Corporate travel, we're in profits with it still. A little bit wobbly today, had a little bit of a breather. I think you'll see corporate travel hopefully march on. I think that chart does look very good, and this little pullback here. A little trick sometimes that often we do is try and get a feeling maybe where these stocks will move in the short term. Is certainly just put them on a 60-minute chart and see, and you can see how they've been moving on that 60-minute chart. Again, coming back to that sort of average, bouncing back off it, and really I think that sort of level, I'd like to see them actually break through that sort of 1829. See if we can break through sort of 1829, 1830 by tomorrow, then that could be a good sign that this could go and retest those highs, which is what obviously we're hoping they do. And obviously, the good to see obviously the gold stories coming back, which is obviously important. We do obviously like the gold stories, and we're sort of, I think we're very sort of bullish. We're looking. Just going to talk about evolution for a second, and I don't want to bore you, but it's starting to look better obviously on the charts, but. You know what, you look at evolution, and even if this company, I think if gold goes, we're saying today, if gold went sort of under 1,000, in Aussie dollar terms, evolution could still be possibly making, as long as the Aussie dollar went down as well, which I think it would happen, would be still making $350 an ounce, which, for them would be at least sort of 250 to 300 million gross profit a year. Worst case scenario, evolution most probably trading on a P of 12 or 15. Best case scenario, if gold goes for them, this company could be paying its market cap off in 2 years. So, we really like evolution, and I think obviously we go on about gold, the importance of having a hedge in your portfolio in these sort of pretty interesting times. I think it's fairly important. What I would like to have a little chat today is obviously. We've got a new system here at Equity Story, and it's quite interesting. What we're doing in the new website, we've got a Contrarian section where basically we're looking at Contrarian plays, stocks that have been totally oversold to I think just sort of ridiculous levels, and a lot at the moment I think basically fund managers, any slightly bad news, I've never seen anything like this really in our market. They just press the red button and then they ask questions later. But I think, and then on top of that, you suddenly get the shorters jumping on board, and so I think there is a huge possible market to look at, and a huge potential place to make money looking at these contrarian plays. And our first one, funny enough, is Vocus, which we thought was cheap at even as 550, 650 was cheap. Now it's $4, and obviously we think it's a screaming buy. So the analyst did a little bit of a write-up why we think it's obviously a good buy, a good contrarian play at this sort of level. And you go on Einstein's trending blog, you can read up about it, or you did receive obviously a buy recommendation in your email today, so you can read up about that as well. The other stock I think it's well worth mentioning is obviously New Here, and really the microcap sections have been sort of, if anything, a little bit dead over the last sort of year, and it's been a really sort of tough sector. The market just don't want to get involved with it at the moment. But New Here is starting to look actually quite good, and if there's one that might be a good story, it could be and make us some good money fairly soon. It could be New Here. Now, I think if you can sort of end the week around that sort of 12 cents, there's no reason why this potentially couldn't have a nice little run up. It's a good story. It's starting to kick all the goals, like I said last night. And again, it had another good move up today. So again, keep it on your radar. As this is another company, funny enough, it just listed 2 days ago. It was up 50% today. Dare I say it, but it's another sort of baby food formula. This one is called Bubs. It's actually quite interesting. It's fairly different. It's got a different sort of sales story. This is goat's milk, which obviously they reckon can be sort of very beneficial to kids, and obviously kids are suffering with or not sort of digesting cow's milk. This is certainly could be a very, very interesting product going forward. Again, I think they've got some interesting shareholders. Ellison Capital in there, and they've got a big holding. And I think Nancy Zhang as well, the wife of one of the sort of the owners of one of the biggest sort of retail Chinese websites in Australia, is also on the board. So I think they've got good people behind the company, which is good to see. And again, this, at the moment, equity story, when, we are being pretty hesitant of putting micro caps on or 10 baggers, simply because it's just a sentiment in the sector at the moment. Bob is one we'll keep an eye on it. What's important for us at the moment is revenue. We want to see companies making money, and we believe at the moment it's the safest place to be. And all our companies, or most of them in the our 10 baggers section, are companies which are actually making money and growing their revenue. And one of those I'd just like to talk about is Star Group. And again, what an amazing announcement came out today. Well, Star Group are going to be paying now a 6.7% dividend. Now, this dividend, if their earnings and their revenue is growing at 200% year on year out, and I think I'm not saying their revenue is going to go up 200% next year, but certainly their revenue growth has just been fantastic over the last sort of year and a half, and there's no reason why I can't see that continuing. So as their revenue does grow, so could that dividend. And certainly a company which is at the moment paying a 6.7% dividend, this dividend could grow dramatically over the next few years. And hopefully that'll be the catalyst to eventually get the share price going. And poor old Star Group, it can't do much more than it does. And hopefully one day this company will get the accolades it deserves. Anyway, that's all I've got to talk about tonight in Equity Story. I hope you have a good night, and I look forward to doing this report tomorrow. Thank you. Good night.